Hello, fellow Minecrafters. Gearsaw Studios here. Today I'm going to show you how to build a giant Christmas tree, as it's the 12th day of Gearsaw, so we might as well finish it strong. However, before I begin, remember, please like and subscribe. It really helps me out. So, with that, onto the tutorial. So, for our builds palette, we are going to be using brown concrete for the trunk and lime terracotta for the leaves. Because the thing is, building a tree is very hard. So, you might as well just use spruce saplings because they sometimes grow like Christmas trees. So, this is a pretty easy tutorial to follow. All you need is a decent amount of resources, some bone meal, some spruce saplings, and a little bit of luck. So, once we have that done, then find an area where you want it and grab bone meal. And here's the thing, if you're in a snowy area, which you have a pretty good chance of being at, you can't exactly grow a spruce tree like this. So, excavate the snow, and then suddenly it will appear. Because I have the random tick speed up, this was able to grow very fast. However, we don't want this specific style. Instead, we want to have one that looks kind of different. So, I have a giant spruce taiga over here, and we want one that looks like these. So, a Christmas tree that looks like this would be good, but some of the other ones are good. What we don't want is right here, what we see, because these aren't going to make very good Christmas trees except stuff like this. So, just grow one that you think would look good. Now, after quite a lot of tree growing, I finally managed to get a Christmas tree that I particularly like. So, it's rather short, but it's still pretty big, so I'd call it a giant Christmas tree. So, it's looking okay so far, but what we want to do is just slightly shorten this thing, because having that little part at the top just doesn't look so good. So instead of using leaves, we're going to replace it all with lime terracotta. So it might be a little costly, but it looks so much better, because the thing is with terracotta is that it's not transparent, and that fits in a lot better with ornaments. So replace all the leaves with lime terracotta, and while you're at it, replace the logs with brown concrete or another brown block, because believe it or not, Christmas trees are a lot easier to build when not using Christmas tree blocks. So, replace all this with the lime terracotta and brown concrete. Now, with the conversion done, we have an okay Christmas tree. So, let's make it better. You see this ridge right here, and you should probably replicate it all the way up, because it looks a lot better. Although it might be a little difficult to do, it's definitely really worth it. So, try making more of these ridges across. Now, with appropriate ridges added, this Christmas tree looks a little bit better. So, if you have a taller one, this design works way better than it does here. But overall, it's a pretty good design. So, what we should do now is add the ornaments. So, what you should do to add ornaments is you can either just place them on top, which might ruin the shape a little, or you can just dig them into the leaves, which doesn't ruin the shape, but it makes them a little less prevalent looking. So I'm going to go with the second option because I pretty much enjoy shapes in general on this Christmas tree. So start burrowing in or hanging your ornaments onto your tree. Just remember, concrete is the best option, but concrete might be a little hard for some of you to get en masse, so just go with various things. With our ornaments added, we could call this a day, because it's already a pretty decent Christmas tree, and you can replicate it a ton due to the simplicity of it. All you need is more saplings and more resources, so it should not be too hard to replicate. However, if this is going to be the star of a build, such as in the middle of this ice skating rink, which all the other builds I've built here surround, we should add a topper. So, start by placing down some concrete in a ring, then power up a little like this, and it already looks okay, but we can expand upon it. So, what we can do is we can add little points on it to make it more like a star. But be careful. If you do it too far, it might become a little weird looking. So you should probably experiment with a ton of different designs because there's no inherently right star type. Or you might not even want to go with a star. So it's completely up to you. So I've tried my best at a topper, but sometimes toppers aren't for everyone. Because when you're growing a 2x2 tree, toppers are just plain difficult to make. So, if you're having trouble doing it, don't try forcing it. It's pretty difficult to put a topper that looks decent. So, I recommend getting rid of your topper if you don't particularly like it, and just adding the rest of the tree back. But, of course, we still need a little detail. Gifts. So, you should grab your wool and just start placing little blobs of it under the tree. So, it can be just one cube, or it could be two stacked onto each other. Either way, it's simple, easy, and a very good way to make the tree look better. So, I've added a couple of wool cubes, and it looks pretty cool because it has some fake gifts under the tree, so that way it's just a little more finished looking, especially since there's no feasible way I could think of to make a topper. So, I'd consider this build done. A pretty short tutorial, but remember, this is very easily repeatable. Just remove the topper and gifts, and you can make your own Christmas forest pretty easily. So, with that, it's the end of today's video. If you enjoyed this video, remember, please like and subscribe, as it's the last day of Gearsaw, which is just a little series that I've been working on for about 3 weeks. So, with that, take care. Gearsaw out.